Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's only been a day since I filmed this, and those of you who know that Pepper is due for having puppies, hasn't happened yet, so we're still all waiting. She still seems very comfortable. She's not really showing too many signs that the puppies are, due within hours. She's still trotting around and playing with Bandit, and so I guess we just have to wait for Mother Nature. So I've been busy stitching these little leaves. I got time in the afternoon to sit down yesterday and get into those. And I was looking at these two here. So I decided this morning I would grab out the panel that we did with the hearts and just lay this on top and make a decision on if I need to cut it or not, because I want to stitch these two leaves here. So I've just laid it down. I've done a running stitch down now. It didn't need trimming. I can certainly stitch that straight onto that edge. The spine will be here, and this little selvage can hang over, which doesn't worry me in the least. So it will all fit. So yeah, I'm happy about that. So I'll just bring it up to the camera so you can see the little leaves. I'm really happy with the way they came out. Weaving leaves is just a lovely, lovely effect. So in the end, I did a leaf. All the leaves had the warp thread laid down, as in weaving. The threads are all laid down in a row, and then you come back with your needle and go over and under as you weave through your upright stitches. All of the leaves, the upright stitches, were done in this guy, this variegated thread. One leaf, that one and that one, I then did the weft thread, the weaving, in this thread as well. So these two have got that nice embroidered cotton, crochet cotton look, and they're variegated. Now these two, that dirty, murky sort of browny green, is that guy. And then those two is that guy. So these little pieces are fantastic for playing with threads, so that if you ever want to do a bigger piece in the future, you can go back through these pieces and you can then have like a sampler of what each thread did. So I'm really, really happy with those. And I'm sort of, as you know, I've enrolled in the Fleur Woods Joyful Embroidery course, the online course, and I'm now starting to think about the major piece and what stitches I'm going to do in the piece. You probably would have seen Rachel's piece when she did the course earlier in the year. So leaves and things connected to flowers is just a foregone conclusion. So I want to make my leaves a little bit different. So these are a really good way of playing with different threads to understand how they work and what I could possibly do. So I'm sort of having a play practice on this piece, so that when it comes to doing my grand piece, I've got a bit of a plan. So anyway, enough talking. We're just sort of chilling out, waiting for the puppies to come along. I've been bringing Pepper in, every 2 hours inside, checking her out, giving her a cuddle. And I've got an old single bed foam mattress, the ones that you throw out for the kids. If they ever had kids come and stay, there's always that foam mattress that slides under the bed for extra bedding. I've got one of those. I've had it for years. So I've got that in the middle of the lounge room. So Pepper, she loves it. They have dinner, or they sort of lazing around outside, and I just go to the door and I only have to look at her, and she just knows it's her inside time. She is milking it, and Bandit's sitting there going, but what about me? So we've got to make sure we give him plenty of loving too. So usually I'll spend 10-15 minutes with Pepper having a good look at her and giving her a cuddle, and my husband will go outside and play with Bandit, throw the ball for him and give him a little bit of loving. So he's pretty good. He's like, good, you've got her. Now someone's going to come to me. How quickly dogs realise the situation, you know. Pepper's inside. That means I'm about to play, because he'll shoot off and go and grab some of his toys waiting for my husband to arrive. It's really cute. He's still a big puppy himself, that bozo. But Pepper comes in and she goes straight to the mattress. She lays on it and I sit down with her and we have a big cuddle and she smooches, and then she flips over on a side and have a little rub of her tummy, and it's the best time. Really enjoying my connection with Pepper. It's things like this that'll make her my forever dog. Like, dogs really gravitate to a particular owner, and Pepper's definitely my dog. Bandit can't decide at the moment. He just loves everyone. Bandit's, you know, living life to the fullest. He hasn't yet got that maturity that says you're mine, you know. But Pepper has, and she's definitely my girl. It's a really nice bonding with her. I'm really enjoying it, guys. I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm feeling a real maternal thing come out. Is that normal? I thought I felt a puppy move last night too, but I don't know. Might be just her burping. I say that you can feel them, but there's be so many in there and there's so little that I'd be surprised if I'd actually do. I might have to be very careful around this edge. I might just back that weaving stitch back a little bit. Yeah, they say that you can feel the puppies move, but I haven't felt anything yet. They're so little compared to human babies. They can give a good kick, or as they turn, elbows and knees, and, you know, there's definite chance of movement. But puppies, I don't know. So I'll just finish that little weaving stitch. I apologise yesterday too if my video didn't exactly capture every moment of stitching. When you zoom in, you sort of really reduce the area of which that you can be under the camera. And, you know, an hour of stitching, your back starts to stiffen up and your neck, so you start to sort of pull back away from the area of the camera. So I was looking back at the video, and it was definitely a few times where my hands were sliding towards myself, which was me just straightening my back. So I do apologise, especially for those who are learning. But I think there was enough in the video that you got the general gist. Okay, I'm just going to do the stitches for this, and then I'll start the weaving, but I won't do all of it because I just want to get into this and get into a rose. Technically this probably should be in a hoop, but I think it'll be all right. They worked out really well and they weren't in a hoop. It's just about taking your time and making sure that your fabric's taut. But if you're comfortable with a hoop, go for it. Now the stems, see the roses, there's all stems weaving in amongst the big guys. I will just do stem stitch for those, or maybe split back stitch. I could couch something on them. before I decide, I might just go through and have a look at my Steph Francis yarns. I can't imagine there'll be anything brilliant in there because they usually have a bit of sparkle in them, and I don't really want to go down that look. So I'm going to assume that I will just stitch them with one of these threads. Probably one of the wools so that it's nice and bold. The variegated might be pretty, but I don't know. Stay tuned. I won't bore you with the stems. I'll just stitch those in. I want to get into these flowers and make some decisions. I've still got sitting here the colours from the Stitching the Seasons project. And they are all muted pinks and mauves and things like that. So I'm going to rummage through those. And the other thing I want to do is work some lace into the roses just to make them, you know, a little bit different, make them a little bit more Corrine-like. You know me, I like to collage fabrics and laces and doilies into things just to make it a little bit more interesting. So there's my 2 leaves ready to have this treatment. Okay, let's now have a video at the end of this video, which is introducing you to where I plan to have Pepper and the pups. So I'm going to take you on a tour to my laundry. Really exciting stuff. Certainly not a tour to the antique market. It's a tour down the hallway to my laundry, and I show you the Whelping box that I've set up for the babies, and yeah, pretty much what it'll look like. So pre-puppies. Let me just, I mentioned too in that video, let me just get this started, that I'm making a list of names because I'm going to name the puppies just so that I get, you know, the enjoyment of naming puppies. But the puppies really don't respond to names at this early stage, and the families that end up having a puppy, they're, you know, very welcome to change names. And let's get this stitch in. So what I would like from you guys is, how about in the comments, write down some puppy names for me. So what I'll do is I have a list, and then as they're born, choose a name, and then they go on to the growth chart with their little name and a description of their colouring so that I know who's who. Mind you, Australian Shepherd puppies, they actually come in all sorts of colour combinations. So it's not like, I think I sort of mentioned this in the laundry video, it's not like they're all, you know, black dogs, and you certainly need some form of identification because you wouldn't know who you're weighing, who you're checking the growth of. So you really need to either have a colour connected to the puppies, and that's fraught with danger. I go into those details down in the laundry, so I won't rehash the same information. But so yeah, if you've got a puppy dog name that you could suggest, please tell me, because I'll have a list with me at the birth, and as I do a medical check of them all, I will give them a name, give them a kiss, and then welcome them to the world. So I'd love to see some suggestions, guys. Now remember, in amongst the colours we will have bandit colours, so black, white and blue tones, a blue merle. We will have red merles, so a red version of Bandit, red, tan and white. We will have black dogs with white and tan. We will have black and white dogs. They call them tries and bis, so depending on whether they got the 3 colours or the 2 colours. We will have Pepper colours, so she is a red try. She has the red, the white and the tan around her cheeks. You can get a bi version, which is just the red and the white, so the little tan markings around the cheek don't exist, so that's a bi, 2 colours. So what have we got them all? The red merle, the blue merle, the black bi, the black try, the red bi, the red try. And then you can have little combinations that they then call sables and, you know, all sorts of little names, but they're pretty rare. And being that I've mated Pepper and Bandit's colour combination together, I'm going to get the standard colours of an Australian Shepherd, which is the ones that I've listed. So as you think of the names, you can pretty much imagine all sorts of different colour combinations. So yeah, names are a lot of fun for these little pups. Let me just get this turned around, and then I'll just do, oh, that's the same weave. Oh, so you can see, I'll bring it up to the camera. You can see I've done the second row exactly the same as the first. So that actually needs to come out. That's because I'm yabbering, not concentrating. Don't know if I can get, oh yep, I don't want to break. One little job I've got to dodge out and do today before puppies. I'll probably hubby will go out so that I can stay here in case something exciting happens, is I need to get some supplement. So if I've got a puppy in a few days' time that's just not building itself up as much as the others, I can have ready on standby some supplement to bottle feed. It does happen. Some puppies just, you know, not interested as much in mum's milk, or for whatever reason they're just not responding as well, so you just need to give them a little boost. But and the product's called Wombaroo. It's designed for puppies, so I've got to slip out to some specialty vet stores, pet stores, vet stores, to get us a bag of that. I've got some little baby bottles for them to mix it up in. And I was looking online and was chatting to the vet nurse. Vet nurses do a lot of that type of work. And if we have a puppy that needs the bottle 100% of the time for whatever reason, sometimes you just never really know, 75 ml, I believe, is the measurement of milk that they need in their day. So it's all about the maths. You got to record it all. Well, you don't have to, like, you know, I'm a farm girl, and I can assure you the puppy litters that I saw as a kid growing up, none of this was done. Maybe I'm being overprotective, but I don't know. Why not, I say. If it means that mum and the puppies are nice and healthy, and you know, it's my job to care for them. If I can, I should. That's my theory. My father rolls his eyes. He certainly rolls his eyes. We've got friends that, you know, are full-on breeders of black Kelpies. They're a working dog here in Australia, pretty famous working dog. And they've got a lot of cattle. and their farm is very different to the farm I grew up on. My farm was dairy cows and small crops, so a blue heeler cattle dog. But even then, there were years when we didn't have a dog because the cows are so gentle and quiet. You just have to call them and they come up to the dairy to be milked. So dogs on dairy farms, not 100% necessary, but if you've got a big herd, yeah, you probably do need the help. But our herd wasn't big, and we were small crop vegetables, so dogs were really much a pet. And but our friends, they own a massive cattle station, and they've got thousands of head of cattle, and they're those really wild ones. If you got between a fence and some of these cows, they'd charge you. Like, they're wild, and they're up in the scrub country. So the stockmen need dogs to assist in getting them in to have, treatments, or, move to another paddock due to lack of food in a paddock. They move them to a next section. So working dogs are critical to their farming practices. And that family actually breed their dogs because they're amazing. They're just beautiful. So it's been handy chatting to them as well, sort of getting additional information. But, yeah, I'm surrounded with a lot of help, which is good. I think it's the only way to do it. A few years back when we did consider it, I certainly didn't have the support that I have now, so I feel a lot more comfortable. You got to have the time to look after them, and even though we're pretty busy at the moment, but with this house and moving and all that, we won't move until the puppies are done. And as for trips to the house to connect with the builder and, waiting for the official handover, my husband's going to do all that now. I'm not going anywhere from this point. I'm on puppy duty for the next 8 weeks. 12 weeks, 8 weeks, depends, how they all go. So no rush. I want them as long as I can have them for puppy cuddles. So I'm housebound now. That's it. No more gallivanting for me. I have responsibilities. So I'd love to hear some names. Pop them in the comments and I potentially may add them to the list. All right, I've got to the very top of this leaf now. I'm going to just leave it at that because otherwise this is the same video as yesterday. And I can do that lickety split after the camera goes off, finish that, and then the leaf process is done. And the stems I can also do. So I'll just scoot this down to there. And I'll just bring it up. Ready to finish weaving it. Okay, now enough about the puppies. I need to concentrate now. Let's have a look at these roses. I'm thinking along the lines of these muted tones. So, but I want to get some lace in as well. What stitch am I going to do? Might have to be satin stitch. We probably want some darker colours. What's in here? There's a bit of, oh, that's the one that had the pattern inside. This is a funny little thread. It tends to spring and carry on. Wouldn't say it's my most favourite, but it has a bit of a shimmer to it. It just twists really easily. When you're doing stitching of little areas, it's probably okay. What a hang of a mess. Now I've got a knot here. All right. See, it twists and it bounces back out of your hand. It's very coil-like. Would have been a bucket of crochet with. That knot's not coming out and I'm wasting time. I'm just going to cut that because that'll give me a nice piece. Work on that later and I'll probably be able to salvage some out of there anyway. Right, so see, I can feel it. See how it twists? I don't know if I want to be bothered with that. Massage it out, see if it gets any better. No, look at this, you watch that on the rose. Immediately twist, yeah. Forget about it. Why put ourselves through the grief? Okay, I think I want a little bit of darkness in the center of the rose. What's in this bag? So they're getting very purple in there. What's down there? Browns, no. Okay, I think that's the best of the bunch. So maybe this one first. Let's put a bit of darkness into some of these flowers, petals. And the other thing we need to do is pick a couple petals that will be lace. Now I'm thinking the lace could be around the outer edge. Whether there's something. Got to be a little careful because we have these lines. So it does need to be a solid lace, I think. Don't really want anything like that. Maybe I've got to go for more of a fabric. Is there anything in the scrap department? These are really good fabrics, but they can be a little bit fraying. But I don't mind the net. Let's just explore those. Or we can find a lace that has a natural curve about it and work those in. Just bear with me as I have a little rummage to see what we can find. That there might be interesting. It's a different texture. We only need little bits of cotton. There's a little bit more of that stuff. A couple little bits of crocheting there. Good, those little half bits that connect bigger bits. There's another one. Might be able to use those actually, these. So when you've got motifs in a crocheted doily, there's always these little connectors that connect to a bigger piece. And when they get to an edge, there might be a little guy connecting it to an edge. If that makes sense. Probably not. Oh, hello. That's got potential. Okay, I think I've got enough. Stop rummaging. All right, so we need that would work. Oops, don't drop the scissors. Let's just trim that a little bit. get those little nodules off so it sort of looks a little bit more like that shape. It doesn't have to be 100% identical, I don't think. Maybe it should. I often get a question about when you cut crocheted doilies and things, don't they just fall apart? Look, they don't seem to, but I don't, you know, rough them up either. I do put a lot of stitching in around the perimeter of them. Yeah, I like that piece because it does go past the perimeter a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I think that rose can handle that little fluted out piece there. Where's my little pins? You can always add extra stitches to your little element before you attach it. If you're concerned, you could whip stitch around that little piece or just do it straight into your work. It is full of knots, so it's pretty secure to start with. I like that little detail. I like the idea of this too. I wonder if I can get ourselves a I should be using some paper and trace it, but I'm going to try and do it by eye. Looks roughly like it. Let's slide that piece in there. It just needs to be trimmed now to suit. It does go right down over the two, which I'm okay with that. Just give that a little bit of a different shape. So yeah, I'm pretty confident that when I choose to use a crocheted element, it holds. Yeah, there we go. And then I can stitch maybe that petal inside and it comes down onto that nicely. That's a bit frayed. Do I need this piece underneath then? Is that going to separate? Or do I... Oh, that fits even better. Okay. Pin it, quick pin it before it slithers away on me. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Now we might do this little guy around there. Be nice to get a different texture. What about that piece? So if that piece went in there like that. Yeah, I like the outer edge. Looks very florally. Get rid of some of these little bits. And there is a petal under here. See that one there? I think I would want to stitch that over there just to make it look like the bud is actually sitting out, and even I might come out here a little bit. So in that case, I'm going to stitch these guys down. Now, am I covering my leaf too much? I just need to pull that back a little bit. So now, just with cotton, sewing machine cotton, I've had a few questions lately about the cotton I use. I say the word invisible stitching, but it's not the cotton that's invisible, it's the stitches. Just itty bitty stitches, but on the back of the work I probably jump a centimetre to come back up to do another tiny little stitch because I don't really want to see it, but I hate working with pins, so it's just to secure my little bits and pieces, or it might be, you know, to secure this to the back. So that's what the invisible stitch is all about. And I just use my sewing machine cotton. I find it's more than adequate. There is invisible thread out there that I I have a roll of it, and I used to use it to stitch quilts, but it's synthetic. I just don't like it anymore. Plus it's hard to thread the needle as my eyesight is changing. It's just a little bit obnoxious to use, so I haven't picked it up for years. And I've got heaps and heaps of threads that I've inherited, so if I do need to change a colour, let's say I was doing some green and this cream thread, which is my go-to, just would look too obvious, I just go and find a similar green and, you know, stitch with that. See, we get caught on pins. Let me change that to these little applique pins. As much as I struggle to use them with my big buffy fingers, they are pretty good. You can get this tiny little pin in and you got less chance of it catching because it is only little. They use them a lot for needle turn applique quilting. So they definitely have a place, but they are little. So I'm just going to take my time and get these little elements stitched down so that they don't fray. So what I will do, I've just got caught around that pin again. I think I've got a 15-minute, 10-minute video in the laundry, so I just got to keep an eye on my time. What I might do is I'll leave that at that point, and let's choose the fabric for the bottom petals. And then we've got that element sort of done, and then the last stage will be working some satin stitch or split back stitch, which I think will be more than adequate for the internal of the rose. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'll just bring that thread up. I'll also stitch right through the center of that just to make sure that it's not going anywhere. And we've got to remember, before I forget, especially if I don't get back to this for a day or so, where's my pen? Where's my... I'm looking. This I'll have to do. There was a little petal in under there, so I really want to have that come through so I don't forget. I might even bring a little bit of that guy onto there. That'll help the rose push down this center into the rose. I think that's my theory. Okay, let's have a look at this guy. Now that there is a classic for a something. Oh, maybe we use a bit of this. Does that match? Yeah. Why don't we add this? Do I have any tracing paper? I don't want to waste. I'm just going through my rubbish here, but I am up to date with my rubbish removal systems, and I can't see. I wonder if I could use a little bit of this. Just bear with me, guys. I don't know if this will work because I may not even have a pen here that will do the trick. I'm rummaging to find a solution. I just need a small indication of where the leaf or the petal goes. Just like that. It's all I need. Using what I have. This often happens like this when you're out holidaying and you've taken some needlework with you and you don't have your whole craft room, so you start rummaging, looking for bits and pieces. Is that coming off? Nope, that's dried. So I'm just going to cut, actually, let's do this. So there you go, improvisation. Let's put a little pin in that, but it worked. And now I can cut. Now I've got a very thick line here, but I'm okay with that because I'm going to cut on that outer edge, and it's probably added a few mil to the shape of the petal, which is not a bad thing. Now I'm just going to pull that pin back. So there you go, it just shows you don't need all the fancy stuff in your craft room. You can use what you've got. All right, so I've just recycled a piece of plastic off of some packaging. Now, let's get this down into position. That's pretty good. Just want to double check. Oops. Yeah, that's going to work. So we're going to have this random pink leaf. Let's get some pins into that. As I stitch that down, I'll be able to manipulate it more into position, but it's pretty good. So there's going to be two varieties. It's probably a little bit short there. I probably got it upside down, but that's okay. I'll stitch up into there. I need to probably take that point off just a bit, but I'll worry about that when I actually stitch it down. I don't want to shortchange myself. So now we could do probably a little bit more pink. I feel like we could do, and I think the next one I could probably just do it by eye. Can you even see? I'm aiming for this little bit here because it's underneath the main petal. Let's see how that shape. Yeah, that's going to work. I just got to do a little bit of delicate trimming. That's pretty close, I would say. Like that. Yeah, that's good. Then I can bring something over the top, whether it be stitch or another piece of lace. I might have a look at some lace. I sort of feel like I could lay that down a little bit through there. I could probably even do something up there. That guy there might work. We'll put him in for now. Or I might decide to stitch that one up there, that this is enough, but it's a nice shape that potentially could be up there. I'll pin it. I'm not a lover of it. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. I sort of feel like it needs a completely different lace. I'm just reaching over to my I wonder if I can manipulate that into the shape I need. I reckon I might be able to. There might even be something better in my box of tricks. It's a funny shape. It's fanning that way. So it sort of needs to go like that. And then it's fanning back the other way. But you don't want it that big that it covers this little guy. So it's nearly quite a long, elongated element needed there. And I don't think that's right either. It's a little bit bulky. What else do we have? Oh, here we go. This is a very dainty little piece, and I'm wondering, it's an old crocheted doily that I got a piece of from Melanie Purveyor of Textiles. And I like the fact that this is a dainty and can be manipulated into that curve. It's sort of a curve going back on itself. Let's just cut a piece out. We'll see how we go. So let's get our curve happening. Do we need to be more that way? Yeah, this is going to work with a few well-placed stitches. I'll be able to manipulate that petal shape. Yep, that'll work. So that's going to be the petal through there. So I can trim that back, stitch it down, and that will come through here. It might even take that whole space, and I can always stitch a little bit of that guy back onto it to make it look like there is a petal coming over the top of this. So I think that'll work. Yeah, that's going to work. So that's a little element we will need there. Well, that's good. I've got some homework while I wait for my pepper puppies. I've got that figured out. So the roses are going to look quite different, which is lovely. These guys here we'll worry about another day. So whether they are just straight embroidery, like something like that, and we let these be the big feature. As for the centers, see this, that's such a lovely shape to put up the side of it. A rose, we'll see. So I'll work on these guys, but I'm pretty much going to follow the dark to light rule. So in the very center of these petals, I will start with my darker threads and just do the long and short stitch just to colour it in. I'll just do a little bit so you guys get the general picture. See where the printer has drawn those little strokes? I'll probably take advantage of that too and get something that could be those little strokes, whether it's a crochet cotton in a hot pink or just something to make it look like there's a throat there. It's to denote that you're looking down into something. So you see I jumped forward and did a stitch away from where I was, and that's just to help my stitches to lay in the correct direction. If I'd continued one after the other in a row, I would have had quite an odd angle. So you sort of jump forward a little bit and place a stitch down and then fill it back in. It's just a bit of a grandma trick there. Helps make your satin stitch lay well. So I'm jumping forward now. I'm doing a stitch over there. See, I've come forward in that little petal, and then I'll go forward again and get this side one in, and then I come back and start working the rest of the stitches. So I go in between where I was and that stitch. And then another 2 stitches should fill that in nicely. So that's sort of how I do my satin stitch. Wool is very forgiving too. If you're worried about your stitches not looking, you know, absolutely precise, you can do use the wool threads, and they're very forgiving. They hide a multitude of stitching roughness. They're really good. If you've got a child that you're teaching some embroidery to, or letting them have a little play, give them some wool. Let them explore those options. There we go. So I'd probably find a lighter colour for this little petal, but this guy here will be a darker one, and I'm thinking it'll probably be this guy. And then I'll find something really dark to do those few stitches down there. So it's just a combination of long and short stitches. It's a bit too far of a distance to do the old satin stitch. So it's just going to be working my way down there, long and short stitches. And then when I do the second row, I will split the stitch previously with my needle so that I don't get those little holes showing. Excuse me. So I'll go up in amongst those stitches so that I just don't get those little dotty holes that you do get. If I was to go back into that same spot, you get a hole. So if you bury your stitch up into the ones you've just done, just gives more of a softer merging of your threads. Really looks good. All right, I better chuff off. And as soon as I finish this video, you'll see the little tour of the birthing suite for Peppa Peach. There's a good doggy name. Her nickname's Peppa Peach. Peach. That'd be a good name. I better add that to the list. All right, guys, I shall leave you alone. I should go and check on my Peppa Peach and make sure she's all good. Actually, I can see her through my window. She's just snoozing here next to my window. So she's good. All right, lovely. Well, maybe in the next video, I'll have some news. That'll be Monday for you guys. Maybe we would have had some action. Okay. Got plenty of homework to do. I'll finish stitching in there, and then when we come back, I'll probably have some news, I'd say, and we'll work on the buds. I'll finish the stems too, and then I can fill you in on all the details and do the buds if we have some news. All right, I think that's it. I will leave you alone and see you all in the next video. Bye for now. Hello everyone, welcome to Peppa's maternity ward. As promised, a little video to show you, oops, just cover the camera, a little video to show you where the birth will be. So we've set up Peppa's whelping box, that's the technical name for such a space. These are available online. The main thing about it is it's modular, and as the puppies grow, you can do all sorts of things with it. These sides just click in, so you can have them at different heights. You can create exits out. You can block off exits once puppies start getting to the age where they can jump out. Often that's needed. We're ready with a foundation, as in, see the grey mat at the back that goes right through. That's like a waterproof backing, and then it's nice and padded. so that stops any messes going through to the floor. Just in under this pink area here, there's a rectangle, and that's thank you Fudge donating his electric blanket. So you can see the power cord runs across under that mat. There's the controller, then it comes up to the power. That is just a warm spot, so while Pepper's up and outside going to the toilet or having something to eat herself, there's always this warm spot for the puppies to lie on. So it just helps the puppies survive even better with a bit of a warming spot there. Some people that do this professionally would have then a light that heats come down over it, but I'm lucky enough I can control the air in this room, so I can set it to a really nice comfortable temperature for puppies and mum. So as I mentioned in yesterday's video, I've emptied my linen cupboard and got it ready. So I've got some towels for the birth, and then these are all the extra bits that I'll need when I put on the extra pen at the end. So that allows me to, you know, give the puppies a little bit more room. I'll just grab the picture so you can see the picture. So it's really handy when I'm cleaning down the whelping box, because I can move mum and puppies into that space, and I can disinfect this area down, relay the towels, and then bring mum and puppies back. So that's, you know, really, really handy to have that space. Up here we have ready with some little cloths to help with the birthing process. My scales are ready to do daily weighs. In here is a medical kit, and that includes things that I might need if we have to work on a little puppy. Some of them come out and they might not be responsive, so we've got a few processes we can go through, but most of the time the mums do all the work. It's just a beautiful thing to see, but you never know. As our motto is, we'll never leave a hound behind, so we've got to be ready for all sorts of scenarios. And as I said in yesterday's video, I've got a really good veterinary group behind me, some friends. I've even got a vet nurse as a mate, so they'll all be on standby, and if I need any help, they'd be here lickety-split and give Pepper a hand. So just outside the door, Bandit will be, but that's as far as it goes. This is mama papa time. It's no place for a bullfed like Bandit, so he just has to sit and watch. All right, guys, I'd say the next time you see this space, we will have Pepper in there feeding. You'll have puppies doing their thing, and I will keep you updated with their growth as we go forward. I'll plot it all on a spreadsheet so you two can see how they're progressing. We are working through a list of names at the moment. I don't know, we decided we're going to name all the puppies. They don't really respond to names at this early stage, so by the time they go to their forever families, the names are either kept or not. It's up to them, but at least, you know, we get a bit of fun with some puppy names. Makes it easy to identify them, but when you see them come out, you'll realise that Australian Shepherds are all very unique in their colouring, so there'll be all sorts of colours. So it's not like they're, you know, brown dash hounds and you need names or at least a collar to denote the colour. Not a fan of the collars. Everyone's been saying, oh, get yourself some puppy collars. But when you talk to your veterinary friends, they're like, oh my gosh, the number of cases where a foot has got caught in the collar and it's ended tragically, or damage being done to the little shoulder. So can't have that. So there's lots of advice. As you can imagine, everyone's got advice. So, but it's all good. There's some good stuff in amongst it. All right, I'll leave it at that. I won't build the second part of this whelping box until probably maybe a few days after the birth. Sort of everything will just sort of flow, I believe. So yeah, we'll just stay tuned and I'll keep you posted. All right, guys, look after yourselves. Thanks for watching. Bye.